It's midnight and you're tuning into Nightline with me, Raymond. The headlines. Government pledges to shorten process of hiring foreign workers. And Energy Absolute expresses interest to explore Malaysian market, says PM. Good morning. The Home Ministry, KDN, will be the main custodian in the management of foreign workers in Malaysia beginning January 15th. Its Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said the move would involve a restructuring of the application process to bring in foreign workers into the country, including shortening the whole procedure to 30 days or less.
Penjajaran itu bermaksud proses kelulusan 3/4 daripada urusan proses kelulusan dengan KDN menjadi kustodian utama ini akan terletak di bawah jurisdiction Kementerian Dalam Negeri. 3/4 daripada proses keseluruhan daripada majikan memohon, prior approval, memohon kota, sampailah kepada pekerja asing itu dibawa masuk.
Dr. Sri Saifuddin said this at a joint press conference with Human Resources Minister V. Sivakumar after attending a special meeting of the Joint Committee regarding the management of foreign workers in Putrajaya on Thursday. Despite this, he said the Human Resources Ministry would still be responsible for compliance to labour policies, quota eligibility and cooperation with source countries. Dr. Sri Saifuddin assured that stakeholders like employers, industries, associations, as well as foreign workers need not worry about the realignment because it would not affect the existing procedures and flow of applying to hire migrant workers. He added that the meeting also agreed with the proposal to relax the conditions and procedure of applications for foreign worker quotas to an optimum level to balance the needs of economic development with the interests of national security. Meanwhile, the Malaysian Employers Federation, MEF, welcomed the announcement by the Home Ministry as foreign labour demand is currently critical in several sectors, especially construction, agriculture, services and manufacturing. Speaking to Nightline, MEF Executive Director Datuk Shamsuddin Bardan said the move is also crucial to jumpstart the country's economy.
MEF hopes that the shortening of the time taken to process the application of foreign workers will put us back on track to ensure that Malaysia achieve the targeted GDP for 2023 at 4 to 5%. MEF accepts the decision of the Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar to put back the Ministry of Home Affairs as the lead ministry to take care of the recruitment of foreign workers. What is really important is, at the end of the day, employers are able to fill up the shortages for foreign workers and put back our recovery efforts on track.
Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim hosted a delegation from Thailand led by tech magnate Samput Ahunai, who has expressed an interest in embarking on a 5 billion ringgit pilot project in Malaysia. Describing Samput as the Elon Musk of Thailand, the Prime Minister said Energy Absolute Malaysia Sdn Bhd is keen on exploring the market in terms of building up the green technology industry, among others. Dr. Sri Anwar said this in his social media post on Thursday. The Prime Minister revealed that Energy Absolute, which has a market capital of 45 billion ringgit, had expressed a keenness in exploring the Malaysian market based on the principles of supporting, investing and embarking on a pilot project by collaborating with Computer Forms Malaysia Berhad, CFM, to the tune of 5 billion ringgit. The cooperation agreement signed by both companies witnesses the formation of Energy Absolute Malaysia. The first phase involves 200 electric buses from Thailand into the local market. The next phase will look at the potential for EV manufacturing in Malaysia based on current demand. The company was also looking at some strategic locations for the development of its manufacturing hubs in Selangor, Negeri Sembilan and Melaka.
I mentioned to him that we not only come here to invest, but also want to share our technology and the benefit. If we can, join force, not like ASEAN country compete each other. Why not we, cooperate and make the ASEAN as a whole to be a bigger market and more attractive.
At another meeting, the Prime Minister held discussions with the advisor to the Prime Minister of Qatar, Ghanim Saad Al Saad. Dr. Sri Anwar said the meeting was to discuss investment opportunities in Malaysia. In a social media post, the Prime Minister said that there were several discussions regarding the potential investment through the company Ghanim bin Saad Al Saad and Sons Group, GSSG, in the future. He said GSSG, which Ghanim leads, is currently exploring opportunities for investment in Malaysia. GSSG is one of Qatar's most diversified private holding companies, which has built a group of 45 companies in Qatar and around the world. In addition to its corporate headquarters in Doha, GSSG also has 5 international offices located in London, Zurich, Cairo, Singapore and Dubai. Sabah Deputy Chief Minister Datuk Sri Joachim Gunsalam has dismissed claims that there will be a change in the state government. The Parti Bersatu Sabah PBS Deputy President stressed that the Chief Minister Datuk Sri Hajiji Noor still has the majority support to continue leading Sabah.
110% PBS masih menyokong kepimpinan Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Sri Haji Noor. Sangat tidak keperluan dia, but if it is required, I'm sure we can win.
Aside from PBS, Parti Solidarity Tanah Airku Star also reiterated their support for Datuk Sri Hajiji, who is also Gabungan Rakyat Sabah GRS chairman, adding that there was no need for a vote of confidence.
That one I don't know, but as far as Star is concerned, I don't all for Datuk Hajiji.
PBS and Star are component parties of GRS, which also includes Sabah Progressive Party, SAPP, and United Sabah National Organisation, UMNO. On Wednesday, GRS Secretary-General Datuk Sri Masidi Manjun said the coalition was prepared to prove that Datuk Sri Hajiji still commanded majority support in the State Assembly, following reports that certain parties were claiming to have secured enough support to form a new state government. The Sabah State Assembly has 79 assemblymen, 73 of whom were elected and 6 appointed. Currently, Datuk Sri Hajiji has the support of 59 assemblymen. Transport Minister Anthony Loke Siew Fook shared via his social media account that he went on yet another observation, survey and scouting mission to inspect and see for himself the situation along the Kelana Jaya LRT line and the monorail during peak hours. In the post uploaded at about 8:30 p.m., he said on Thursday evening he went to see for himself the situation and scenario for the Kelana Jaya LRT line and the monorail. The Transport Minister said he was aware of the LRT service disruption in the evening because of technical problems and issues. This caused the trains to move at a slower pace and left many passengers waiting for long periods at the stations, which also resulted in trains that were very packed and congested. The minister said the technical management team of Rapid Rail were working very hard to restore services as soon as possible. He went on to say that all the trouble and inconvenience faced by the passengers and commuters is very much regretted. The service operator Rapid Rail, meanwhile, said the line is back to normal after the switch malfunction. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah has called on all universities in Malaysia, both public and private, to play a role in supporting the educational aspects of their respective students. The King said this would provide the opportunity for the students to serve the country in the future.
Saya dimaklum ada 75 universiti di seluruh negara Malaysia, baik yang kerajaan dan maupun yang private. Dan saya harap semua universiti ini dapat main peranan untuk menentukan perjalanan penuntut-penuntut ini diusahakan dengan sebaik yang mungkin. Mudah-mudahan mereka akan menjadi penuntut-penuntut yang dapat memberi sumbangan besar kepada negara di masa-masa akan datang, insya-Allah.
Al-Sultan Abdullah said this at the launch of Tunku Abdul Rahman University of Management and Technology, TAR UMT, in Kuala Lumpur on Thursday. Al-Sultan Abdullah also expressed pride over TAR UMT's achievements, which included producing more than 300,000 graduates and having over 29,000 students enrolled on all of its campuses around the country. Tunku Abdul Rahman College, or TAR College, was officially established in 1969 before it was upgraded to a university college and renamed Tunku Abdul Rahman University College, or TAR UC, in 2012. On November 7th last year, TAR UMT was officially formed upon receiving the Certificate of Registration from the Higher Education Department. The Kuala Lumpur High Court freed former Felda chairman Tan Sri Shahriar Abdul Samad from his R1 million money laundering charge. Justice Dato Muhammad Jamil Hussain acquitted Tan Sri Shahriar after Deputy Public Prosecutor Rashida Murni Azmi told the court that the prosecution did not wish to continue with the case. Tan Sri Shahriar was charged under the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act with receiving R1 million from former Prime Minister Dato Sri Muhammad Najib Razak in 2013 and not declaring the sum to the Inland Revenue Board IRB. The funds were alleged to have originated from One Malaysia Development Berhad, 1MDB. 22 witnesses testified during the trial. Earlier, Rashida asked the court to grant Tan Sri Shahriar a discharge without acquitting him. However, Tan Sri Shahriar's lawyers urged the court to grant him a full acquittal. Rashida was asked why the prosecution did not want to pursue the case. She said the instructions were not to continue. The defense team then said that in those circumstances, the court ought to put an end to the matter for Tan Sri Shahriar by acquitting him, which the court granted. Dato Sri Muhammad Najib Tun Razak on Thursday filed a petition before the United Nations Human Rights Council Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, UNWGAD, to ask for a release from prison or retrial of his SRC International Syndrome Berhad case. The former Prime Minister, through Messrs. Shafi & Co., filed a petition at 1:30 p.m. at the office of the High Commission of Geneva via digital submission. Dato Sri Najib's counsel, Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi Abdullah, told a press conference that his client filed the petition following an appeal hearing at the federal court which he claimed had serious defects and was contrary to the rules of international justice. The lawyer said Dato Sri Najib is asking the UNWGAD panel of 5 experts on international justice to rule that the dismissal of his appeal by the federal court on August 23rd last year was unjust, flawed and violated his basic human rights and the federal constitution. Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi claimed that the federal court proceedings failed to accord Dato Sri Najib a reasonable opportunity to argue his case and denied his lawyers adequate time to prepare it. UNWGAD is expected to give its ruling on the petition in several months' time. Meanwhile, despite the UNWGAD filing, Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi said the defense team intends to proceed with the SRC review application, scheduled to be heard in the federal court between January 19th and 26th. Dato Sri Najib is serving a 12-year jail term in Kajang prison after he lost his final appeal in the federal court to set aside his conviction, jail sentence and a fine of 210 million ringgit for misappropriating 42 million ringgit of SRC international funds. UMNO President Dato Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said he is open to being challenged by anyone who aspires to hold the party's #1 position in the upcoming party election. He also stressed that the power to change the current party leadership is in the hands of UMNO delegates.
Kuasa untuk menentukan kepimpinan terletak kepada kuasa dan suara perwakilan di seluruh negara. terdapat hampir 160,000 perwakilan yang mewakili cawangan-cawangan untuk menentukan sama ada kepimpinan yang sedia ada ataupun kepimpinan yang berubah untuk kita pastikan bahawa UMNO dan Barisan Nasional terus relevan.
Dr. Sri Ahmad Zahid told this to reporters after attending his ministry's New Year mandate event in Putrajaya on Thursday. He also said the decision on whether UMNO's top 2 posts will be contested will be up to the delegates in the upcoming 2022 UMNO General Assembly. He added that he was confident he can defend his UMNO presidency if challenged in the next party election. In the UMNO election held in 2018, Dr. Sri Ahmad Zahid was elected as president after defeating his 2 challengers, Khairi Jamaluddin and Tengku Razali Hamzah. Elsewhere, at a dialogue with the media in Kuala Lumpur, UMNO Information Chief Isham Jalil stressed that the party would never amend its constitution to prevent the posts of UMNO president and deputy president from being contested in party elections. He said the matter was never raised in the party, but certain quarters were making up this issue to divide UMNO. Still to come, China announces reopening of border. Stay tuned. China on Thursday announced it will reopen the border with its special administrative region of Hong Kong on Sunday, ending 3 years of pandemic restrictions that have isolated the financial hub from the Chinese mainland. Officials said the opening will bring the resumption of quarantine-free travel between Hong Kong and the mainland, although it would be done in a gradual and orderly way. However, visitors will still have to provide a negative result from a COVID test taken within 48 hours before traveling and complete a health declaration. The move comes after Beijing said it would reopen its international borders and scrap mandatory quarantine from Sunday, welcoming international travelers and returning residents without the need to quarantine. It is also the latest step by China to unwind its controversial zero-COVID policy, which had inflicted grueling social and economic costs. In the U.S., a powerful bomb cyclone slamming into the California coast Wednesday night has prompted Golden State's governor to declare an emergency throughout the state. It was reported that the low-pressure storm system moved in from the Pacific, bringing damaging winds, excessive rainfall, and extremely heavy snow in California and into southern Oregon through Thursday. The storm has also prompted mandatory evacuation orders in the state, sending Californians from the northern California coast to Santa Barbara scrambling for shelter. Dozens of flights were cancelled and around 190,000 customers across the state were without power as of early Thursday morning. Amazon on Wednesday announced it will cut more than 18,000 jobs from its workforce, citing the uncertain economy and the fact that the online retail giant had hired rapidly during the pandemic. Its CEO, Andy Jassy, said the company was deeply aware that the role eliminations are difficult and thus is working to support those who are affected with packages that include a separation payment, transitional health insurance benefits, and external job placement support. The impacted workers would be informed starting on January 18th, and some of the layoffs would be in Europe. The retailer had indeed hired with a vengeance during the pandemic to meet an explosion in demand for deliveries, doubling its global staff between the beginning of 2020 and the beginning of 2022. Adelaide International, Jannik Sinner brought Thanasi Kokkinakis' title defence to an end on Thursday, beating the local boy in straight sets and advancing to the quarterfinals. Six-seeded Sinner forced the first break of the match in the 8th game, only for Kokkinakis to claim a break to love in the following game. The crowd favourite could only muster 2 points in the ensuing tiebreak and Sinner claimed another break in the 3rd game of the 2nd set on the way to a 7-6, 6-4 victory. Waiting for Sinner is the last 8 is American Sebastian Korda. Earlier, Novak Djokovic battled back from 5-2 down in the first set to beat Quentin Alice 7-6, 7-6 and move into the quarterfinals on Thursday.
Alice, ranked 64th in the world, has never beaten a top 10 opponent, but gave Djokovic a big scare before the former world #1 prevailed in 2 tiebreakers.
Djokovic, who has now won 31 consecutive singles matches in Australia, is preparing for the Australian Open, where he's seeking a record-extending 10th crown. The Serb was unable to defend his title last year after he was deported on the eve of the tournament for not being vaccinated against COVID-19. The 35-year-old Serbian will next play Denis Shapovalov, whom he has beaten in all 7 of their meetings. In another match, Sebastian Korda beat Roberto Bautista Agut in straight sets to seal his place in the quarterfinals. Korda forced a solitary break of Bautista Agut's serve in either set for a 6-4, 6-4 victory, the world number 33's third win in as many on-court meetings with a Spaniard. Police inspector charged with raping underage girl. The details when Nightline comes back. Back. In Johor, a couple were charged at the Batu Pahat Magistrates Court for the murder of a 4-year-old boy in Felda Semencu, Teluk Sengat, Kota Tinggi last month. 25-year-old Muhammad Izwan Mahmud and his lover, a 16-year-old teenage girl, were charged with a common intention to kill the boy between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. on December 23rd last year. The charge was framed under the Penal Code for murder, which provides the death sentence upon conviction. No plea was recorded from the unemployed couple, as the case is under the jurisdiction of the High Court after the charge was read before Magistrate Siti Zubaidah Mahat. The court fixed February 22nd for mention, pending the post-mortem report. In a separate court, the victim's sister, 19-year-old Nurul Natasha Daniel, alias Zainal, pleaded not guilty to abusing her brother that caused him to suffer physical injuries. The housewife, who was responsible for taking care of her brother, had allegedly committed the offense at Senggarang, Batu Pahat between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. on November to December last year. She was charged under the Child Act, which provides a fine not exceeding 25,000 ringgit or imprisonment not exceeding 20 years or both if found guilty. Magistrate Norasida A. Rahman fixed January 12th for bail application and fixed January 26th for mention. In Kedah, a police inspector was charged in the Sungai Petani Sessions Court with raping an underage girl in a police station last month. 34-year-old Muhammad Maliki Azmi pleaded not guilty to the charge, which was read out before Judge Roslan Hamid. The incident allegedly took place while the accused was investigating a rape case involving the victim at the Yan District Police Headquarters at about 6:30 p.m. on December 28, 2022. He was charged under the Penal Code for rape, which provides for a jail term of up to 20 years and whipping. Earlier, the accused also claimed trial to 3 charges relating to sexual assault against the same girl at the same place, time and date. The charges under the Sexual Offences Against Children Act carries 20 years imprisonment and whipping if convicted. The court set bail at 10,000 ringgit with 1 surety for the rape charge and 15,000 ringgit with 1 surety for all 3 charges of sexual assault. The court also fixed February 6 for a lawyer appointment and submission of documents. Over in Japan, around 1,800 people of all ages from all over the country took part in New Year's calligraphy contest held in Tokyo to show off their Japanese calligraphy skills. Let's take a look at the annual event as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Raymond. Thank you for your company and stay safe, Malaysia.